Hello everyone. So today we're going to be shooting the AR-47. Okay, so this is the Davidson Defense. I've done a number of videos on this. There was a whole fiasco that I had with this with the Bear Creek Arsenal firing pin. I finally got that sorted out. I've got in the Black Rifle Arms firing pin. That's been working really good. I've had this out to 500 yards. When I had the I had a 2.5 to 20 Night Force scope on here. That scope has now gone on the Scar 17. So I got on here the optic that I originally wanted to put on here, that I originally had on here, and that was the Holosun 503G ACSS. So, and today I've got the Holosun 3X magnifier behind this. Okay, so right now it's snowing, right, and I've got a 2 foot by 1 foot target out at 200 yards, and I was just like, at 200 yards I was trying to look at this target, and with the naked eye through this snow, it's not a heavy snow, but still at 200 yards, looking at a target that's only 1 foot by 2 foot, I can't really see it. I can kind of see it, but I really can't see it with the naked eye, and I want to see how it's going to look with the 3X scope, and if I can make my hits, okay? Because I don't think I'd be able, like, certainly if I didn't know exactly where the target is, there's no possible way, like, I would be able to find it with the naked eye and hit it. So I want to see how I do with the 3X magnifier. Now, normally I paint my targets, you know, white with a red stripe through it, so that it stands out and I can see it. However, I've shot it so much and I haven't repainted it, so pretty much the paint has kind of come off of it, so it's not like a highly contrasting, you know, the colors are not highly contrasting. So it's going to be interesting. Let's try this out. I've got 10 rounds loaded in this 20 round magazine. Let's see how many I can get out of 10 rounds. Yeah, from here, it's like, I really can't see the target with my naked eye. I know where it is. I mean, you know, if I was shooting at it, I'd probably get some hits just by knowing where it is. But let's see with the magnifier how it looks. So with the magnifier, I can kind of see the white stripe that's going through it, which I normally wouldn't be able to see. Like, I can't see it with my naked eye through the snow. But that 3X magnifier, yeah, it's definitely allowing me to see the target. So it's going to be very useful. One, two, three. Calling out the hits. You can hear the dings. 4. Nope. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9 out of 10 hits. I'm not sure why that one missed. I was actually a little surprised because I think I held on the target pretty good. So that's 9 out of 10 at 200 yards on a 2 foot by 1 foot target using Red Army Standard. Okay, so that's one of the things I like about the AR-47 is that, you know, it's like, I think it's a really good competitor to the 6.5 Grendel and the 6.5 Arc that a lot of people are like really talking up these days, because with the 6.5 Grendel and 6.5 Arc, I mean, a lot of times people are going to quote, yeah, it's got like 17 and 1,800 foot-pounds of energy, but that's out of like a 24-inch barrel that they tested it. I did a video, you can, if you search my channel, you'll find it, where I researched what people were doing were, people were actually chronographing on 16-inch 6.5 Grendels and 6.5 arcs, and they had to use like Hornady ammunition, like really expensive Gucci ammunition, to get up, like to get close to like to get a little bit past 1,500 foot-pounds. I don't remember the exact numbers. The 7.62 by 3.9 in a 16-inch barrel, it gets, well above, it gets up to 1,400 foot-pounds. You can even get up to 1,500 foot-pounds. So, and I'm shooting this with like cheap steel case ammunition, right, with Red Army Standard. So one of the things I was considering, like about a month or two ago, right, when I started doing this research, is should I get a 6.5 Grendel? Should I consider a 6.5 arc? And it's like the way I've come around to it is like, you're only getting a very small amount of benefit in a 16-inch barrel, right? You have to go to a much longer barrel. So, and plus you're going to be paying more for the ammunition. So the way I'm rationalizing this right now, it's like, you know what? I've got like thousands of rounds of Russian steel case ammunition stockpiled. I have hit like 1 MOA groups at 100 yards with this. I had this out to 500 yards for like a 2.6 MOA. So I really don't see a reason to get it to 6.5 Grendel or 6.5 arc, especially in the case where like I already have thousands of rounds of 7.62 by 3.9 ammunition, right? So that's the conclusion I've come to, and I was actually trying really hard to justify getting into a 6.5 Grendel or 6.5 arc, and one of the other issues I found with the 6.5 Grendel is that people reported that like if you're doing like full auto fire or really fast shooting, you can have feeding problems, right? And it's related to the cartridge and the way it's shaped. Which is also true with the AR-47, right? Where I'm shooting the 7.62 by 3.9 in the AR. I mean, these cartridges, they're not ideal for the AR for the standard AR platform, right? There's things that can't I know that Palmetto has a unique lower that will accept like AK-47 magazines, and that's what you really need, because the issue with we're trying to use the AR platform is that the magazine here is straight. So what that forces you to do is use a magazine that's like straight over here and then takes a sudden curve over here. And that's not like ideal for 7.62 by 3.9. And apparently it's not even great for a 6.5 Grendel, because they're having some feeding problems with that too. So like my conclusion is, it's like if I'm going to go to a different, if I'm gonna invest in the 6.5 Grendel, unless it's gonna be perfect and really give me like over the top results, I don't see a reason to do it, man. I'm just gonna stick with the 7.62 by 3.9, which I already got a shitload of ammunition for, and just have fun with this, because where I'm seeing this, it's like, okay, 5.56, excellent round, okay, it's gonna handle like 90% of what like SHTF stuff. It's gonna handle it great. Anywhere between zero distance all the way out to 500 yards on soft fleshy things, it's gonna do great, man. And remember, at 500 yards or even past 200 yards, if you wound somebody, they're not gonna continue to charge your position. So wounding somebody past 200 yards is good enough, okay? But if you really need to be working, let's say between between 500 and 1,000 yards, because that's kind of like with a lot of people say, hey, the 6.5 arc, the 6.5 Grendel, the 1,000 yard cartridges. You know what? I got a 308, and that's just better. At those distances, the 6.5 arc and the 6.5 Grendel, they're good. The 1,000 yard cartridges, right, in an AR-15 platform, but it's still a compromise. It's still not going to be as good as a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor. So it's like, I don't know if I really want to get invested, in those other two cartridges, when you got 5.56, that works excellent. The low end 308 works excellent at the high end. And you know what? This AR-47, all right. All it cost me was, I think it was like $240 shipped for the complete upper, right? And then I had to pay $15 extra for reliable firing pin, okay? And some extra magazines, because you need the magazines. So the magazines come in at around $20. But I got the ammunition, so for me this was a much better choice. Now, if you don't have the ammunition already stockpiled, you got to really check the prices and see if this is worth getting into. For most people, what I would probably recommend is, you know what, you're probably going to get a lot more mileage by sticking with 5.56. And if you are trying to get 500 to 1,000 yards, yeah, just go 308, because anything less than 308 is going to be a compromise. 6.5 Creedmoor works great, but it is a barrel burner, so that's why I went to the AR-10 308, because that's just you're going to get a lot more life out of your barrel. And realistically speaking, I mean, for a lot of people, getting an AR-9 is probably going to be a really good choice, because especially for doing a lot of your CQB distance practicing, because it's really not a great idea to be shooting steel targets, at like 10 yards, with 5.56, but you can do it with an AR-9. You can do it with 9mm, right? So, that's gonna. So I would probably tell people, hey, that 5.56 will go from 0 distance to 500 yards. AR-10 308 is your 500 yards to 1,000 yards. If you're looking for, like, I don't think that most people need something in between, although it's fun to have. I think you would probably be a lot better served by getting an AR-9, where you got cheap ammunition, that you can do a lot, where you can practice your CQB work. Okay, so my thoughts on that. Drop some comments. Let me know if you agree, disagree, whatever it is. It's fine. Tell me your ideas. Maybe you know something, or you've thought of something I haven't thought of. So thanks for watching. Talk to y'all soon. Hey everyone, I'm looking at the target that I was shooting at 200 yards from the 100-yard position. And yeah, with the naked eye, man, it's kind of hard to see. And it's not the 3 targets that you see, right? Because you see one to your left, one to your right, one kind of in the middle. Well, there's another target just a little bit left of that between those 2 trees, okay? Yeah, it's really hard to see just from the 100 yards. Yeah, I'm at the 50-yard position here, and with the naked eye, I can now just kind of make out the white stripe. So that's to the left of, obviously you can see the target at the right, but yeah, this is to the left. It's right above that rim, right? You can see that white rim. Well, if you follow that straight up, that's where the target is. That's what it looks like at 50 yards with the naked eye through the snow that's coming down. All right, so this is from about 10 yards away. You can kind of clearly make it out now. You can see the white stripe. Like I said, it's been hit a whole bunch of times so that you can, the white paint has pretty much come off here. Let me move you guys up so you can get a closer look at that target. This freaking snow is like all frozen and shit. Yeah, so here I'm about, I'm about 10 feet away from it here. It's still hard to see. So there's the target, and I'm about 2 feet away from it. So yeah, so that 3x magnifier, man, it really helped being able to see the target through the snow. I mean, the 6x would be better. Okay, basically it's on my 11.5 right now. So I didn't feel like pulling it off, and I had the 3x just sitting there. I said, you know what, let's test it out, see what it'll look, how it's gonna work at 200 yards through the snow. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. But yeah, you definitely want to get out there and practice through the weather, man. Practice, get out there in the bad weather. Don't just be a good weather shooter. You want to be a bad weather shooter too. Test yourself out, test your equipment. You're gonna run some things, shoot with the gloves on, because it's like 10 degrees right now, right? So you got, basically, I can't use those thin gloves, the mechanics gloves that I usually use when when it's 10 degrees. I mean, that's fine when it's like 30 degrees. but like in 10 degrees, your fingers are going to get frozen solid within like, you know, within 5 minutes, or probably within 3 minutes. So for 10-degree weather, I mean, I need something a little bit thicker like this. So yeah, basically shooting with this and being, now I have a 2-stage trigger on that gun. So one of the things I needed to test out is how well is this going to work with the 2-stage trigger. And for weather like this, I mean, using a standard mil-spec trigger, especially as the gloves get thicker, right? Because if I'm going to be out longer, if the temperature drops lower, I mean, even these gloves are not good enough. I need to go to even thicker gloves. And if I have to go to thicker gloves, yeah, the 2-stage trigger is no good. I got to use a standard mil-spec trigger that's going to give me a little bit of resistance that I can actually feel through the gloves.